Alright, you guys, so I thought it was time to give you a little book update. I did one of these a few weeks ago, and I have kind of slacked off a little bit. I had a very strong January where I read a lot, and then I kind of slacked off, and I haven't read as much, but I'm still doing good, still on my reading tracker. So I wanted to give you the 4 books that I have read since that last video and how I feel about them. All right, you guys, so the 4 books that I have read, 2 of them are books that I've read from series before, and 2 of them are brand new series that I've started. And so I wanted to kind of go over each book that I've read and tell you what I thought about it, if I will be continuing that series. And just really give you the rundown on them all. So the first one is Cocky Score by Kenna King. This is a new series that I have not read yet. I read book 1, and to be honest with you, it was an okay story. I felt like it was super long for no reason. I felt like there was a lot of extras. And then when I got to like the end, when they were actually got together, it felt really, really rushed. Like it felt we were reading, like 300 pages of them not being together. And then the last like 150, they were just bam, together, married, gay, engaged, all of that stuff. And I felt like it could have been spaced out a little better. I don't know if I will read book 2 or continue this series. I'm kind of up in the air on it. I started a different series and I'm liking it better, so I definitely will finish it before I continue on this series, but I'm going to put it on the back burner just in case I need something to read. I would definitely give this book like a 2.5 to 3 stars out of 5. I just, again, did not love how slow it was in the beginning and then how fast it was towards the end. I think it definitely could have been spaced out better. The characters I enjoyed. I thought that the characters were great, but I just didn't enjoy the overall book as a story whole. I felt like there was just too much detail in the beginning and then not enough detail in the end. So the second book I read was In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. This is part of the Mile High series. And I'm just going to stop right here before I review this book and say, if you have not read the Mile High series, add it to your read list now. It will not disappoint you. I know it's been all over TikTok. I know people have been talking about it like crazy. It is worth it. Like, I am obsessed with all of these books. This is the last book. I don't know if she's going to be writing anymore. She has not announced anymore yet. But this is the last one so far, and I'm very disappointed that this is the last one. Like, I hope she writes another one. I'm clinging on to that hope because if this is the finale, I might have to reread these books in the future because they're that good. But In Her Own League is about Reese and Monty. Monty is the baseball coach and Reese is the new owner, and she is stepping into this role as a woman who is in a man's world, of course, because we know sports is a man's world. She already kind of butt heads with Monty, and that's just simply based on assumptions made by both parties. Monty and her butt heads because they both assume things about each other that aren't necessarily true. And as we get into this book, we actually see them unravel those assumptions and realize that they are both totally opposite of what they originally thought. Monty is a fantastic character. We have seen him in the previous books as he takes care of his players very well. He's more of that like family figure for all of his players, and so we've seen him in the other Mile High books. And this one was no slack on that. Reese is also a very strong, independent woman, but has also her insecurities being in that male-driven world. And to me, this book could not have been written better. Like, it could not have been written better. I give Liz Tomford a lot of credit because there's a lot of ways that this book could have gone, and she nailed it perfectly. Like, I seriously give this book a 5 out of 5 because I didn't find a single thing wrong with it. So if you have not read any of these books, definitely read them. You will not be disappointed with a single one of them. But this one in particularly was fantastic, and I truly enjoyed the entire series, if this is the last one. The next one is the next series that I started. It's Perfect Deek by Ruth Stilling, and I liked this one. I liked this one definitely better than Cocky Score. So I will probably continue this series to see. This book was kind of slow in the beginning, but then it felt very nicely spaced out. Plus, there are like 300 some pages, so they're really short reads. I was able to finish this one in like 2 days. It's a super easy read, super short read, and I think the next book is also like 350 some pages. So that one will go really fast too. I feel like we got to know the characters a lot better in this one than the Cocky Score that I read, and we got to know the outer characters more, because in these series, obviously, you have your main character in this book, and then they introduce like the next character. And so with this one, we got to know Kendra very, very well, and we got to know all of the hockey team very well, which sets us up for the next book, which I like. So this is definitely a book that I would read again. It is definitely a book that I would recommend, so check that one out as well. And my last one is by my favorite author. Elle Kennedy is my favorite author, and she just came out with her new book, Love Song, which is about Blake Logan and Wyatt Graham. And if you've read any of the Elle Kennedy books, like The Deal and the Briar series, this is their kids. So this is the kid of The Deal, and then John Logan, which is in a separate book, and they're actually coming out with an Amazon series in May. For The Deal, that I'm very happy about and excited to watch. But this book was about Blake Logan and Wyatt Graham. Their fathers were on the same hockey team. They were best friends. You wouldn't necessarily have to read these books to understand this one if you wanted to read this one. It just kind of gives you a better background of all of the characters that you see in this one. But this one was about Blake Logan, who was in a relationship with this guy that she went to college with, and she thought everything was great. Everything was good. He pretty much worshipped her, and then she found out that he was cheating on her, and we kind of get her take of realizing like maybe he wasn't so good to her as she thought. Maybe she kind of played up the relationship because everything seemed smooth sailing. And then it is also about Wyatt Graham, who is kind of struggling to figure out himself. His mom is a famous songwriter, his dad's a famous hockey player, and he has not yet made it in the music business. He is struggling because he doesn't want to take advantage of his mom's name. He wants to make a name for himself, and so they both escape to their summer house, unknowingly that each one is going to be there. And we see them kind of bicker at each other, but have this slow burning chemistry that they're both trying to hide. And as the story continues on, obviously it plays out that they have a lot more feelings for each other than what they originally thought. And this book, again, was so good. I am a huge fan of Elle Kennedy. I will sing her praises to the rooftops. Her books always blow me away, and this one was no different. I give this one a 5 out of 5. It could not have been written any better, and I cannot wait to see what the next installment in these books are, because I know she's going to have more to come. But all of these books were decent reads. The In Our Own League and Love Song, I definitely would recommend. The other two, if you're not so much into the romances, especially sports romances, you're not going to like. But I would definitely check them out anyways. If you have any recommendations for me to read, definitely drop those in the comments. And thank you for watching and joining my channel.